Aloha, it's your boy, Neglected Gundam. I hope you weren't too lonely without me. Today we are going to be looking at the high-grade Serpent Custom from Endless Waltz.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
I do have an Endless Waltz project that I'm working on where all the Endless Waltz main suits are going to be lightly damaged in a nighttime aesthetic. If you've been watching my channel, you do know that. This guy was kind of my test run on that as I painted him first. It was in high grade that I got. This was actually a really cool build that I enjoyed. However, if you don't have patience for a build or something that is not going to look nice right out of the box and once you snap it together, I would say this guy would not be for you. However, if you do want to put a little bit of work into your kit, this is a very fun kit. If you are new to taking seam lines out of a kit, this could push you to your limits a little bit. There are a lot of seam lines. For example, there is a seam line here on the forearm. There's a seam line there. There's a seam line here in the middle of this piece, in his chest. Tan piece for his waist. Here in his waist piece. There's a seam line in his head here. Here. This little fin is two pieces pushed together as well. I think his feet also had seam lines this way. It has a seam line here. And then also the Gatling gun pieces are two pieces that are pushed together as well. There's an unsightly seam line that runs through the entire piece. By the way, that little circle, that's fun to take a seam line out of. This here, everywhere. There are so this many whole thing is a seam line. It's two pieces put together. But holy seam lines, this guy is crazy. Get your cement ready, get your files ready, get your sandpaper ready. You're going to be taking out seam lines for days. This suit really taught me a lot with seam lines. I'm glad I did it. But yes, holy moly Batman, there are seam lines everywhere. This was fun to take out the seam line in the gun barrel here because like I said there was two different parts of the gun barrel that came together, so I actually had to sand that seam line out. But then also there are these like metal reinforcements that hold the barrels together when it spins. And so I just took very narrow plow plate and I was able to put that in and reshape it. And then also I just took flat plow plate there and then made it go around the curve there. I did it 1, 2, 3, 4 times with that, and then 4 times with the skinny ones as well. And this is actually one of my favorite parts about the kit. Oh, and that's just 4 times on one gun because there's 2 guns. So this kit actually is very specific to the Serpent Custom that was shot down by Heavy Arms in the movie. So you'll see like this hole here, you'll see this hole here. All these holes is actually the holes that were put in the movie. I think it was like a white Gundam marker I put on the suit and then I dremeled out all those holes. And so the holes actually went down past the armor, but then on the other side of that armor I went ahead and put putty. So I put the putty inside, so like you'll see here, like so there's like putty in here and here, and then I went ahead and shaped that putty as well. It's because these holes were a little bit too deep for the armor. So I just puttied it up, and I think there's another shot right there. This guy in the movie, he actually fell over and fell on his back, but I didn't want to clip off any of these from his thrusters. I used a Dremel, and then I just scratched up the back, like he kind of fell on his back there, and some scratches here. So a lot of Dremel work and a lot of X-Acto knife work to get these bullet holes right. But once I did, it was pretty easy to get the rest. While painting this guy, I went ahead and base coated everything in black because I wanted the colors to be a little bit more dark. So once I did that, then I was able to go in and, like for example, this piece in the arm is one piece, so I was able to paint that the tan color. But then what that did was once it was tan, on the black that was there, it went ahead and had tan around the edges of here and like here. So what I did was I actually took black paint and then just painted this black again, and then I went over it with this more beige color. So that way it wasn't like weirdly colored there. And then I had to paint his hand. That was painted the more yellow color first, and then I did the same process where I masked it, painted it black, and then painted this more beige color. One of the challenging parts of this kit was to do the shoulder piece, because these shoulder pieces, like I said, had seam lines. So I had to go ahead and take a seam line out of here. But before I put this together, I had to paint the missiles. And then once I painted the missiles, I had to wrap those up and mask them, protect them, and then I had to go ahead and then seam line remove this and paint this the color I painted it. So then I had to go ahead and take the seam line out of that, and then I had to paint that last. This guy, it took a lot of planning and a lot of forethought to know kind of how to paint him, but I'm very happy with the way that he came out, and especially with the weathering that I did. And for this suit, I went ahead and gave him a wash. So I think I used oil earth for his wash. So as you can see, the wash there, it looks like it's just oiled, and rain or something like that has kind of dripped down, or just him using the machine has made it oily, and so it's just dripped down. And I did that for all the surfaces on the suit. It's not overdone. It's just enough, I think. So I'm pretty happy with the way this guy came out. And then of course for the holes here, the bullet holes, I went ahead and just put flat aluminum on the inside. And then for a little trick though, is if you want to give this depth, even though it is just aluminum inside, you could go a little bit darker, and I used like an olive color. And so that gives it a depth of feel to it. It makes that hole a little bit deeper than it actually is in real life. So it just plays tricks with your eye, and it makes it seem like it's a lot deeper. So it's a cool little trick. It's a good one. And then for the decals, these are all custom placement decals because the suit doesn't come with any decals. So I used the water slides for leftover Master Grade Wing Gundam, and also I think it was third party Master Grade Tall Geese water slides that I had. And so I just did like thrusters here, like the warnings, and like down here, more warnings for the thrusters, things like that. Just different caution symbols and things. Just show you what I thought would be like a watered down Katoki kit. I just wanted it to look really good with like decals, and I really do like that, how he has red here on the shoulders, but then also the decals are red. I really like that a lot. Now his weapons. Okay, his weapons are actually really cool. I like his weapons a lot. It gives a lot of versatility to what you want to do with the suit and how you want to pose him, and then which suit you want to kind of show off, because there's a couple different suits in the movie. So some of the suits have this bazooka there. I actually had this in a blue color, so these two guns were in a blue color. I didn't like that, so I went ahead and OxyCleaned them, and then I made this the right color, is purple. But the first thing that I did was I realized that this was a lot of surface area. I wanted it to be like it was in the show, but I watched the movie and the whole thing is just purple, and it's just whitewashed purple. I think it's quite boring, so I didn't like that. The parts of the gun that's more recessed, I thought that that would be like metallic or like bare metal, and for some reason I painted it blue. So first I painted the entire thing in a base coat of black, and then I made a metallic blue color. I think it was just blue, and then I added metallic to it, and I made it very light, so you can still see the dark on the outside, so the black from the primer on the outside, and then on the inside here it is that blue color, and it's the metallic blue. And I thought that that would be a really cool contrast to this gun, and it would just liven it up just a little bit, because if it was one color I think it would just be too boring. So I gave it just a little bit more life like that. Same concept. I painted this one blue first and then I oxy-cleaned it, so I said, man, I don't like that. So it was kind of a hassle, and I think it took months for me to want to get back to this project after I oxy-cleaned it, because I had to, again, mask off everywhere where there was blue. And I'm happy I did that though, because I made this purple the color that it should be. So I was pretty happy that I did that, even though it was a lot of work. I could have given this like piping metallic colors and things like that, but I figured, you know what, in the movie it is so purple, I'm not going to do that, because it seemed like in the movie like everything was just whitewashed purple, like they just painted the gun no matter what, and I already gave it a different color here to liven it up, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to do other colors, I'm just going to leave it purple. So that's what I did. This gun, this was quite cool. If you look into the barrel, there was a piece of plastic a couple millimeters down into it, so this was not actually a hole. But what I did was I took that piece of plastic out, and while this gun was in two pieces, I actually took one of the best pens in the world. It was like a Pilot 2.0 or something like that, made in Japan. It's like the best pen you could ever get. It's so amazing. It's so good. But I took this, and then there was pieces of reinforcements inside here where they come together. I took them out, and then I put half of the pen inside the gun barrel. So this gun actually has a barrel inside, just like the inner mechanics of the gun. But I thought that was pretty cool that I actually have a barrel inside this gun. Okay, enough about that. This suit is really cool for showing off his weapons, if you like that. If you like to be able to put all his weapons on him and have him carry his entire loadout, it's actually a really cool kit to do that. However, I like him to just have this because he is a very specific mobile suit from the movie. So my final verdict on this guy is I really like him. I like him a lot, actually. However, this guy, he's pretty straightforward. You take out seam lines, you have to mask when you paint. It's an older kit. It doesn't have an inner frame. I actually like that with this kit because it's not overly complicated. It's fairly simple and it stays together. I mean, it's a little bit loose, like you can see, but like once you get his legs to be at a spot that you want him to be, he's not really going to move. I mean, he's pretty solid. I really, really like this kit a lot. Oh yeah, these are seam lines in here too. There's just so many seam lines. So that's the only problem I have with the suit. That's the only con that I don't like about the suit. But as you can see, this one's already made. So why complain about something that's already made and looks good? Or if you guys ever want to make one, there's a lot of seam lines. So keep that in mind. I love this suit. But like I said, you're going to have to take out a lot of seam lines because there are a lot. That didn't stop me from having fun with this kit. I had a blast with this kit. So thanks for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you want to go ahead and go on this journey with us and see more builds in the future, and also just some more past builds that I've done, come on and join us. Go ahead and subscribe. Like the video, comment about it, and subscribe to the channel. You might even pick up some hints and tricks along the way to help you with your builds. I hope you stay motivated. I hope this motivates you, and I hope you have a great day. And until next time, I hope you don't feel that neglected now. And then of course the thing that I get complimented the most on this kit is the jewel. And people are like, oh my gosh, how did you paint that jewel? It's so cool. No joke, they say that. And I'm like, well, that's a sticker that I put on after I did everything, so that's cool. Alright, not to be salty, but that is the compliment I get with this suit. You can actually see this seam line. Unfortunately, this guy was on my top shelf when I lived in Maui, and it was a windy day, and I always kept my windows open to hopefully catch a breeze, and the breeze pushed this guy off this shelf. I think it was like over 6 foot tall, this shelf, and he landed on my tile floor, and so this seam line, it broke where I had fixed it and molded it together.
I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me. Maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path.